Hey everyone, I'm Claire from Pilates Claire. Welcome to the studio. Today we're looking at some exercises for herniated disc recovery. Now, just be really careful here. If you've got a herniated disc or have had a herniated disc, then you will know how painful it can be. And these exercises are not for when you're in the acute stage and it's really, really painful. So if you're in that stage at the moment, please don't attempt these exercises. This is for when you are becoming more pain free and you're starting to recover, and these exercises will help strengthen. So hopefully it doesn't happen again. But please seek advice from your healthcare practitioner about when to start exercise and what exercises to do. This is just a guide, and not all of the exercises may be suitable for you, so do be careful. I'm going to be talking about lower back problems. So you can get herniated discs anywhere within the spine, but more often than not, it's in the lumbar spine. So for these exercises, that's what we're going to be looking at. There are a few things to remember. So make sure that if you've lifted a leg, that you don't drop that leg down without control, because then you're really going to trigger things off again, and that's not going to be very nice. Quite often during your herniated disc episode, then if it's in the lower back, you will have been told to do lots of back extensions. So things like laying on your front here and kind of lifting up, this sort of thing, and that is perfectly the right thing to do. But what often happens is that afterwards, this lower part of the back has become quite stiff and maybe a little bit lordotic. The hamstrings have got a little bit tight. The lower back is tight. So we want to start very gently loosening off those areas. Make sure that I'm going to use pads here. Make sure that you pad underneath your lower back so that your lower back has some support. And we're also going to use them when we're on our front as well. And make sure that you don't do any rotation exercises for now. We can introduce those at a later stage when you're stronger and gained a little bit more strength. So we're going to start. We're going to start with some simple things. There's not going to be anything too difficult on here. And if you've done a lot of Pilates before, then it may seem very basic. But we need to be very gentle, because you're going to be frightened that you're going to trigger something off anyway. So the body is going to be a little bit protective. So we've got to work with that and just gradually work into some more difficult moves. But you know, it's we don't want to set anything off, so you just have to take it slow and carefully, I'm afraid. So we're going to start by laying on our back, and I'm going to put this padding underneath my lower back so it's got a little bit of support. You can use kind of like a towel or something soft, so you've just got a little bit of support there. And we are going to do some leg lifts and some knee drops, and then some arm things, just to kind of get a few bits moving for now. So we're going to lay ourselves down. So the padding is in my lower back. Pelvis is in as neutral position as I can get and feel comfortable doing at the moment. And we're just going to focus just initially just on your breath. So take a few deep breaths, let your low back sink in towards the padding. And as you exhale, just think of those abdominals drawing in and up. You start to connect into your abdominal muscles, your deep abdominal muscles. And then we're going to begin by just lifting one leg into a tabletop position. So as we do this, we want to make sure that nothing changes through our spine or our pelvis. And it's actually quite a tricky movement. If you rush it, you can wobble over to one side. So you really want to think about engaging from the pelvic floor and all the way up. So we're going to lift one leg, keeping everything still, and exhale as you lower that leg down. And we're going to inhale, lift the leg up. Exhale, draw the leg down. Good. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, lower the leg down. We're going to do 2 more and then we'll do the other side. So really focus in on what your back wants to do. Can you draw your abdominals into that padding a little bit more? And as always, if this does not feel good for you, please don't do it. So other side. So you're going to draw the abs in, lift the leg up. Imagine it just floats up. Carefully lower the leg down. So don't drop the leg. That's not going to be good for you at all. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. Make sure you don't kind of twist as you do that. Couple more. And back to center. So we can start to add in the second leg now. And if this feels too much for you, then I want you to just stop and go back to your single leg versions. So this time we're going to inhale, one leg comes up. Exhale, be strong through your core and lift the other leg up. Inhale here. Exhale, lower the leg gently down. And then the other leg. And then starting with the other side. So we bring the leg up. Draw the abdominals in. Lift the other leg up. And down. And down. Good. If that's too much for you, what you could do is come onto the balls of the feet. I'm going to bring my feet in a little bit. And then we can lift one leg into tabletop. And then just see if you can extend it out to 45 degrees. Bring it back. Lower that leg down. Try the other side. And down. So see how it feels. You might find that this one is just a little bit too much at the moment. And if it is, that's okay. Go back to a single leg. Do whatever you need to do. And then we're going to take that into some knee drops. So we are going to keep our pelvis as steady as we can. This time we've got our legs together. And we are going to keep this left hip as still as we can. So you're going to use your abdominals and we're going to bring the knee carefully to the side. Keeping this hip still. Don't let the left leg wander out. You've got to stay pointing, the knee stays pointing up to the ceiling. And then draw the leg back in. And again, taking the leg to the side carefully. And draw it back in. So you could do maybe 5 or 6 of these on each side, as long as you're staying pain-free. And we'll try the other side. So this right hip needs to stay still this time. We draw the abdominals in, the knee comes to the side. So usually I do this on an exhale, and then I inhale as the leg reaches as far as it can go, and then I exhale and bring the leg up. So I'm exhaling as the leg moves, whether that's up or down. And I really wouldn't rush these. Just try and keep the focus on your pelvis, those deep abdominals, making sure that the back feels okay. Do one more. You can do more than I'm doing. So just to give you an idea of the exercises that you can do when I come back to center. So we're going to start to take some arm movements now. So I'm going to reach the arms up and then draw the abs towards your padding. Draw your ribs down as you take the arms behind you. Good. Reach the arms back up and lower them down. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, reach behind. Inhale, lift them up. Exhale, take the arms down. So drawing into the padding. And again. And again, you can do a few of these. 5 or 6 is fine. And then we can try alternating our arms. So we're going to lift the arms up to the ceiling. So we're just challenging our stability here. So we can take one arm down by our side, one arm reaches back. Try not to twist as you do this. So keeping everything steady. The arms come back together. And we do the other side. Reaching back. Good. Again, don't rush it. You don't want to let the arms kind of just do this, because you can see how that changes the positioning of the back. It must be controlled. You know, we need to be careful when you're rehabbing from these things. And it might seem too slow and gentle compared to what you're used to doing, but better that than rush things and set yourself back. So take your time. And then bring the arms all the way down. Good. We're going to add in some chest lifts now. So the lower back is supported with your padding, and we're just going to lift the arms and tuck the chin in. Think of leading with your forehead, not your face. And then rolling up. Hold if you can, and come back down. Take the arms down. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, curl yourself up. Inhale, rolling down. Good. Do a couple more. Again, don't overdo these. You know, do what you're comfortable with. Build it up slowly. You should feel all those muscles tightening as you come up. And back to center. Good. So we're going to do the 100. The easiest option would be just to do your arms, and that's fine. You know, if those chest lifts were getting a bit too hard, then I want you to just do your arms, and you're going to beat your arms strongly, because you can see how that's going to affect, you know, your deep abdominals here. You know, it's going to try and pull you out of position. We know that from when we did our kind of up and down movements with our arms. So you could try the 100 there. You could try the 100 with one leg lifted, is absolutely fine. I'd actually bring it into tabletop for now. Or we can do the 100 with both legs in tabletop. So I'm going to show you that. So we're going to lift one leg up and then see if you can lift your second leg up. Now, if you couldn't do that earlier in those earlier leg lifts, don't do it now either. And then lift the head and the chest, pump in the arms. And I wouldn't go for the full 100 beats initially, maybe do 20, and then gradually building that up. So inhaling for 5 and exhaling for 5. Good. And then roll yourself down, taking the legs down one at a time. Good. Okay, so we're going to do some leg lifts, some leg circles now. Now, if you have strong abdominals, then you might want to take your leg long and do your circles quite low. So you can do them like this. But that's really only if you were quite strong before and you've got the strength to be able to keep the legs straight. Alternatively, we can take the legs out a little bit further and lift one leg up and keep the knee bent. So remember, you're probably going to feel a bit tighter through the backs of the legs than normal. So just keep the knee soft, make the circles quite small, keep the stability through the other hip, and circle. We're going to go across, down, and around. And we're just going to do 3. So we'd normally do 5 in each direction. Let's just do 3 in each direction, focusing on that stability through the pelvis, and then go the other way. And then lower that leg down, and we'll do the other side. So we lift it up. I'm going to go across and around. Good. And the other way. And back to center. Good. Okay. So obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but we're not going to do any rolling exercises. So roll like a ball, we're not going to do that. Rolling over, all of those things, that is just not going to happen at the moment. Rotations, things like the saw and spine twist, we're also not going to do. Not at this stage, this is just early stages. But we can start to do some half rollbacks. Now, to begin with, you want to make these quite small, and you want to start to see if you can kind of get a small amount of stretch through this bit of your back. But, you might find that it just feels like completely the wrong thing to do, especially after you've been doing all these back extensions. So if you initially are fairly straight as you go back, that's okay. It really is fine for now. And what we can do is it's still going to work our stomach muscles. And then gradually you can start to get around the back and roll back. And we should just use your hands on your thighs to give you a little bit of support. And don't think about going too far back. So we're literally just either leaning back here with a straight back and using those abdominals to draw in and up, or we start to try and round our back a little bit and rolling back here. And you can see I'm not going very far, but I can still work my abdominals here, and so that is absolutely fine. So it's a small movement to limit pressure or strain on the sore bit of your back, but enough that you can feel those stomach muscles start to engage. I wouldn't do loads of these, just a few, just see how it goes. So once you've done those, we can do some spine stretch forwards, and again, make it quite a small movement. So probably your hamstrings are going to be too tight to have the legs straight at this stage. If you can, that's absolutely great. I'm going to show you with bent knees, just because I think that's probably where most of us will be for that. So we're going to sit up nice and tall. We're going to take our arms out in front. Take a nice deep breath, and then just see if you can just reach forwards just a little bit. And inhale as you roll up, exhale as you reach forwards. Exhaling and reaching forwards. Again, if the back stays fairly straight for now, that's okay. If you can, push your feet into a wall or something so you've got a little bit of support, then that might be a nice idea as well to do that. So we can do a couple more. Reaching forwards with those arms. And last one. And then coming back to center. Good. Okay, so next we're going to do some back extensions. So you probably are well used to doing these now, because you most likely have been doing these while the back has been sore. But now I want you to put some padding underneath your stomach. And the reason for this is it's just going to gently stretch out that lower part of your back. So if we're here, and the padding is just going to come underneath our stomach, and you can see how that kind of flattens my back a little bit more. Whereas if I'm here, not sure you can see, but my lower back is a bit lower there. There's a little bit more of a curve. So padding underneath the stomach, and then just having the arms by your side. You can take them a little bit wider, and shoulders relaxed, reach back through the legs. I would keep the feet fairly wide for now, maybe hip width apart, rather than bringing them too close together. So feet nice and wide. Try and lift your abdominals away from your padding, and then just lifting the chest and coming up, and then rolling down. I want you to think about lengthening back through the legs, lengthening out from the top of the head, and coming down. So you can do quite a few of these. It's a movement that your back is used to, probably, depending on your circumstances. So, go ahead, do, 8 or 10, something like that. As many as feels comfortable. And then when you've done those, we're going to sit back on our heels. So you might, to begin with, just kind of get to here, and I want you to see if you can start to bring your forehead down to the mat. And you might initially, put a little pad there, and then eventually, you'll be able to remove that and take the head down. Now, if you can do that and that feels comfortable for you, can you keep your head down and then bring your arms down by your side and hold it there for a stretch, breathing into your back. If it's too much, have the arms in front, have padding under your head, do whatever you need to do, but that will just gently stretch out that lower back. Now we're going to look at some side leg things. Now, the side leg, they normally, when you've had a herniated disc, the pain will be down one side. So let's say that it's my left leg that had the kind of nerve pain, and it was the left side that was affected. Sometimes it's both sides. Often it's just one. If it's both sides, then just do this, what I'm about to show you, on both sides. So whichever side, so if my hurt side is my left side, and I'm laying down on my left side, then I want you to put some padding underneath your waist, so that we're here, so that that left side isn't collapsed down into the floor, it's supported. Okay, so we're going to take the leg out in front, flex your bottom foot, point your top foot, pelvis, shoulders, head, all in a straight line. And then from there, we're going to lift the leg up, and we're going to take it forwards a little bit, and squeeze the leg back. Now, if you can do more of a movement than I'm showing you here, then by all means, please do. Just make sure that you're nice and safe. And I would say maybe do 5. Do, kind of 5 nice and small movements, gradually building up. And then we'll do some small up and downs. You can build these up. You don't have to go in, full pelt doing like 10 or 12 of each, just see how it feels. Reach the leg long again, and then this time we're going to lift it up and flex the foot and lower the leg down. Point the foot, and I want you to try and reach out long through this leg, lift it up, flex and lower. And we'll do 5 of these as well. Good. And again, small movements. It's going to be surprisingly difficult after after your injury. And then turn over carefully, and we'll do the other side. So I'm not going to use the padding on the other side because we're pretending that my left leg was the hurt one. And then legs come forwards. We're going to do our side kick. So we lift the leg up, taking the leg forwards, and then squeeze the leg back. So just focusing on your stability. You can take your hand here if you want to, but to begin with, just rest it out in front so you've got a little bit more support. Just remember to never drop the leg. So always with control, moving this leg around. Good. And then up and down. So reach the leg long, lift, flex, and down. Point, lift, flex, and down. We'll do a couple more. Good. Okay, we're going to turn over onto our back. So I'm going to grab that padding again, my lower back, and we're going to look at some baby teasers. So obviously we're not going to be doing the full thing, and if this is too much for you, then you can skip it. You can go back to chest lifts. So we're going to keep one foot on the floor, and we're going to extend one leg to 45 degrees. I want you to focus on squeezing those inner thighs together. This leg reaches long, and we're going to lift the arms, reach towards your ankle, hold, and come down. Lift up, reach up, and come down. We'll do one more. And if 3 on each side is too much, maybe start with 1. Do the other leg. Squeeze those legs, reach the legs long, press down and lift up. And lower the leg down. Good. Okay, I'm going to pop that pad in to the side a second, and I'm going to come up. We're going to finish with swimming. So another back extension. So we're going to have padding underneath the stomach. And with swimming, we're moving our arms and legs in a swimming fashion. I want you to think more about getting reach through the arms and the legs. So it's not so much lift, it's no lift at all, really. I want you to just think about hovering those arms and legs off the floor. So if we come down, padding goes under your stomach again, and then reach the arms and the legs long. So I'm going to keep the head down for now. Again, put some padding there if you need to. And then I'm going to reach my right arm and my left leg as long as I can. And I'm going to extend them away. And then they might lift up a little bit. And then I'm going to lower them down and do the same on the other side. Reach and lift. So you can see they're barely lifting up. But I'm just reaching so long that they've got nowhere else to go other than up a little bit. And then we could lift the head and the chest, and you can do the same, reach and reach and reach and reach and reach, and down, and the other side, and down. Length, so think of lengthening out all the way from toes to fingertips, and down. You can do a number of those. I wouldn't do more than 10. Then when you've finished, sit back on your heels again. See if you can get the full head down. See if you can get the arms by your side. And then coming up. So I hope that helps a little bit. If you have any queries or questions, then do contact me and I'm happy to help. I would start very, very gently. Listen to your body. If something doesn't feel right, just don't do it. You don't want to trigger anything off. And gradually build up the number of reps. Things like leg circles, where you've got to really stabilize the pelvis, do a smaller amount. Your back extensions that you have probably been doing, try and carry on with those, but have support under your stomach, so that your lower back doesn't get to sink down quite so much. But the focus is on that control and that stability, and just take it slowly and be careful. And I look forward to seeing you again soon.